to thee, Lord, close to thee. For I say close to thee, Lord, close to thee. For I say all along my pilgrim journey.
Blessed uprising, my lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners. As you know, you're listening to Bobo Ras Anthony on blessradio.org internationally, Four Wings of the Earth. Your host today for the next 2 hours with your churchical Naya Bingi Bobo Shantiway. Music from the Daniel #1 band, first creational band in the land. And choruses from the archangels and the angels of the Most High. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Rastafari. Blessed uprising, blessed morning, blessed new day to each and every one who is that is tuning at this hour. You know, we are here from every Sunday from 10 to 12 with your churchical Naya Bingi. So tune in and stay tuned in. One heart, one love, one peace, one word. Be blessed in His holiness. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I,
my prayer shall be. For I say no, Lord, my prayer shall be.
Yes, today's show, blessed, will consist of prayer as usual. Glory be to our Father. Then we shall read the 7 Psalms of King David, the 7 seals. Then we're going to read from the book of Daniel. Daniel 1, Daniel 2, Daniel 3, Daniel 4, Daniel chapter 6. And we'll have some of my words. And then if there's any more time, we just praise the Almighty. You know, within the time that we have. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Jah. Blessed Lord, my lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners. As I said, you're listening to Bobo Ras Anthony on blessradio.org internationally every Sunday from 10 to 12 with your Naya Bingi churchical iration. Be blessed in His holiness, O children of the Most High. Blessed uprising into this new day of love, life, and light. Be blessed. Be blessed.
Now
waking up, just rising up. Crisp out there, sun is shining, giving us some mellow mood. You can walk, can go out there still, but it would be better if you have nothing to do. Let's do the house, clean up the yard, and make everything spice and nice.
Sweet day by day, sweet by Sunday. Saying it's ready for me.
And I, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
Prince and princess shall come out of Egypt. With Ethiopian shall stretch forth your hands unto God, Selassie,
Jah, Rastafari. I love coming home.
Yes, blessed love my lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners, for all Sabbath day keepers who keep the Sabbath on the Saturday, from Friday to Saturday 6. Blessed love, new day, we still give our 10% and still giving our praise, in the new day, first day, To Bobo Ras Anthony, this is the first day. To Ones and Ones, this is the 7th day. This is their Sabbath day. But all day is Christ, for he made every single day perfect. For its attributes and its ways. So this first day we pray and give thanks unto the Almighty God in the same way. As we did yesterday, but more freer today. For as Bobo Ras Anthony, we are in the confinements of the sanctuary of our Father. And we are in the hallowed blessings of his words. But today is a new day. And we still stand and pray and give glory in his own way. Holy King Emmanuel I. King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, Sila, my Lord. Jah, Rastafari, we give thanks for the glory of this day. Let your good grace be with us this day, as we receive good words, we see your good face, your good grace, goodly in character and blessed in every way. Asking you to bless us, my Lord, as your sweet melodies harmoniously play. The black Christ, the first word, the first flesh, the first love, the first peace, the first life, the first righteousness. From righteousness the Christ arrived, with blessings for all. To his name, to his righteous name we call. Holy Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Glory be unto the Father and unto the Son and unto the holy ones of creation. As Jah was in the beginning, is now and forever shall be Jah world without end. So hail our God Selassie, Jehovah God, Jah Rastafari, great and terrible God. Jah Rastafari is our almighty God. Jah who seated in Zion, reigneth in the hearts of all flesh. O thou most high, eternal Father, Jehovah God, Jah Rastafari, hear us. And bless, O Lord, keep us and sanctify us all. Cast thine holy face to shine upon us, thy children, so that we shall be saved and redeemed. O thou most high God, Jah Rastafari. Be blessed in his holiness, children of the Most High. Be blessed in his righteousness, all them that are akin to the mighty eye. Be blessed in his words and his deeds, for many are called and few are chosen. Let us be chosen, let us be called, and let us do according to his will, and praise his holy and righteous name. 10% for the Almighty, 90% of life for us. Let us praise him in his holiness. Let us glorify his name in his righteousness. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah Rastafari. Emmanuel, crown them, judge. Jah Rastafari, crown them in their hearts and their souls, Dada. Crown them with righteousness and truth, Dada. Crown them with peace and love, Dada. And King Emmanuel, crown Jah Rastafari, crown him, crown him, Lord. heart and soul. Reading from the book of Psalms, from the sacred seals of King David. Seal number 1. Blessed is the man and the woman that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor seated in the seat of the scornful. But their delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do they meditate day and night. And they shall be like the tree planted by rivers of water, that bringeth forth good fruits in due season. Their leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever they do shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drieth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Almighty Father of Israel knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish, said the Most High Mighty. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Rastafari. I tell you from the book of Psalms, from the sacred seals of King David, seal, chapter 2. Most High Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Rastafari. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine such a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder, and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in Zion shall laugh. The Almighty Father of Israel shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them with his sore displeasure. Yet if I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, I will declare the decree of the Almighty Father of Israel. Have said unto I, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of thee, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Almighty Father of Israel with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the son lest he be angry, and he perishes from the way, when his wrath is kindled but little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Rastafari. Continuing from the book of Psalms, from the sacred seals of King David, seal chapter 3. Most High Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Rastafari. How long, Lord, how are they that increase that trouble I? Many are they that rise up against I. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in the O Most High Mighty Selassie I. But thou, Lord, art a shield for I, and I glory and the lift up of mine head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard I out his holy hill. Selassie I, Rastafari. I laid me down and I slept. I awake, for the Almighty Father of Israel sustained I will not be afraid of tens of thousands of people that have set themselves against I round and about. Arise, O Lord, save I, O my God. For thou hast smitten all my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongeth unto the Almighty Father of Israel. Thy blessing is upon thy people. Selassie I, Rastafari, my Lord of majesty in thy mercy. Reading from the book of Psalms, from the sacred seals of King David. Seal, chapter 4. Most High Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Rastafari. Seal, my Lord. Hear I, when I call, O God, of my righteousness. Thou was enlarged and I when I was in distress. Have mercy upon I and hear and I pray. O ye sons of men, how long will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after leasing? Selah, Selassie I, Rastafari. but know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call unto him. Stand in Avery and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your own bed and be still. Offer the sacrifice of righteousness and put your trust in the Almighty Father of Israel. There be many that will say, who shall show us any good? The Lord lift up thy light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart more than in time when the corn and the wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, O Lord, only makes me dwell in safety. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. Crown them, Jaja. Crown them, Lord. I continue from the book of Psalms from the sacred seals of King David. Seal chapter 5. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari, seal of mine. Give ear to my words, O Lord. I see the eye agitation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my Father. For unto thee will I pray. My voice shalt thou hear in the morning. O Lord, in the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee and will look up. For thou art not a father that have pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. Thou shalt destroy them that speak it leasing. The Almighty Father of Israel abhor the bloody and deceitful man. But as for I will come into thy house in the multitude of thy mercy, and in thy fear will I worship towards thy holy height. Lead I, O Lord, in thy righteousness, because of my enemies, make thy way straight before thy faces. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward parts are very wickedness. Their throat is a whole fence of sepulchre. They flatter all day, all night with their tongues. Destroy thou them, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out to the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them forever shout for joy, because thou hast defendest them. Let them also that love it thy name be joyful in thee. For thou, Lord, will bless the righteous with favor. Will thou compass him as with a shield. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. As we continue from the book of Psalms, from the sacred seals of King David, seal, chapter 6, Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari, seal, my Lord. O Lord, rebuke I not in thine anger, neither chastise I in thine not displeasure. Have mercy upon I, O Lord, for I am weak. O Lord, heal I, for my bones are vexed. My soul is also so vexed. But thou, Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver my soul. O save me for thy mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave who shall give thee thanks? I am weary with my groaning. All night make I my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. Mine eyes is consumed because of my grief. I wax old because of my enemies. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity. For the Almighty Father of Israel have heard the voice of my weeping. The Almighty Father of Israel have heard my supplications. The Almighty Father of Israel receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and so vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari, Selah, my Lord. As we continue from the sacred seals of King David, seal chapter 7 and last chapter, my Lord, and majesty in thy mercy. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari, Selah, my Lord. O Lord, my God, indeed do I put I trust. Save I from all them that persecute I and deliver I. Lest it tear my soul like a lion does, rendering it to pieces while there is none to deliver. O Lord, my God, if I have done this, if there be any iniquity in my hands, if I have rewarded evil unto him that was at peace with I, yea, if I delivered him without cause as my enemy, let the enemy take my soul and tread down my life upon the earth, and lay my honor in the dust. Selah, Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger. Lift up thy head because of thy rage of my enemies, and awake for I to the judgment that thou hast commanded. So shall the congregation of the people come past thee about. For their sakes therefore return thou and I. The Lord shall judge the people. Judge I, O Lord, according to thine righteousness, and according to thine integrity that's in I. Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous Father tarrieth the heart and the reins. My defenses of Jah will save the upright in heart. Jah judgeth the righteous, and Jah is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not to with his sword, and have bent his bow, and have made it ready, he have also prepared for him the instrument of death. He ordained it the arrows against the persecutor. Behold, he that travelleth with iniquity, and have conceived mischief, and abhorred for falsehood, he has dug a pit, and is fallen into the ditch which he has made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. I will praise the Almighty Father of Israel according to his righteousness, and I will sing praise to the name of the Most High. Hola, Melchizedek Nigo Salam, Habadoni I God, Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Selah, my Lord. Repeating the 17th verse from the 7th chapter of the 7th seal of King David. I will praise the Lord God according to his righteousness, and I will sing praise to the name of the Most High. Hola, Melchizedek Nigo Salam, Habadoni I God, Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Loosing 7 seals of King David upon Babylon at this hour, through the righteousness of mine abode, and blessing the years that behold. Be blessing his holiness, O children of the Most High, my lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners. Be blessing his holiness, Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. As we proceed.
Hymn 276 from the Secret Songs and Solos. Another 6 days work is done.
Blessed love, my lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners. You're listening to Bobo Ras Anthony on blessradio.org internationally. You know, yeah, north, east, west, and south, yeah, Israelite children, they all about, you know. You know, we call them one and all, you know, yeah, we call them one and all, you know, to the salvation chant. You know, we call them one and all to the salvation chant, because we're upon salvation road now. Salvation road, redemption road, you know, yeah, freedom we chant for. You know, yeah. 7, 9, 13, 17 miles of Black Star Line of high water ships. I wanted to say still, you know, it's just 7 and 9 we did really need, you know. But just say more nations them did I go come still. And other ones I look for forward with I and I. So I'm add 13 and 17, you know, miles of high water ships, you know, to the collection. You know, so keep that in mind. But one day we are going to make a move, you know. Yeah, one day we are going to make a move. So we give thanks unto the mighty prophet, John, Marcus I, our black prophet, you know, so wide, we can't go around him. You know, the high priest so tall, we can't go over him. And our King of Kings so short, them can't go under him. So we have every corner covered, you know, spiritually. We have every corner covered. Reading from the book of Daniel. Daniel number 1. From the King James Bible. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah. Rastafari, Sealer, my Lord. Blessed love, my Lord. Blessed love. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hands, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs, that he should be captain, be certain, I should say, of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children of whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom and cunning, in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability to them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the princes of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name Belteshazzar, and to Ananiah Shadrach, and to Mishael Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he should not defile himself with the portions of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the princes of the eunuchs. And the princes of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord, the king, who have appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your face worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall he make me endanger my head to the king? Then Daniel said to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat, and water to drink. Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, eat of the portion of the king's meat. And as thou seest, deal with thy servant. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenance appearance fairer and fatter and in fresh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thou, Melzar, took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of the days that the kings had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king commanded with them. Among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king required of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all the realm. And Daniel continued even unto the first year of King Cyrus. These are the words of the Father. From the book of Daniel, chapter 1, as we proceed, as we go along the way. You're listening to Bobo Ras Anthony on blessradio.org internationally. 4 wings of the earth. My Lord and Majesty, in thy mercy I pray thee. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Taking it easy on a Sunday morning. I open up a nice bowl of the ital then. Even a calabash who use calabash, full up the calabash, man, with some Italian, man. I mean, and drink up some nice herb tea, you know, lavender, all of the choices what we have there, you know, for just cool the vibration, you know. Yeah. Them time, you know. Just take it easy. Holistically, all the way. Ital stew with Ital music. And when you're done, let you just wrap up yourself a nice sensimania split from it. Make the day walk to you. And you immerse yourself in the righteousness of the day. Don't go out of your way, you know. Yeah, don't go out of your way. Merge yourself in the righteousness of this day. Only move when it's time to pray. Yes, greetings, my lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners. As we continue from the book of Daniel, while Daniel #1 band proceeds musically, and the choruses of the angels of the Most High, you know, sing their melodies to Rastafari. Daniel, book of Daniel, chapter 2. My lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners. In thy mercy, my Lord, I pray. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep break from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans, and to shew the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king of Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servant the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known to me the dream with the interpretation, therefore ye will be cut to pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if ye shew the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can shew me the interpretations thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, There is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such thing at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it was a rating that the king required. And there is none other that can show it before the king, except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men in Babylon. Why them king they not easy, I tell you. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with the counsel of wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, Why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would shew the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Uriah, his companions, and they would desire mercies, that they would desire mercies from the God of heaven, considering this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in the night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heavens. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changed the times and the seasons, and removeth kings, and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and the secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who have given me wisdom and might, and has made known unto me now that we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went into Arioch, from the king, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captains of Judah, that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name is Belteshazzar, Art thou able to make known to me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king have demanded, cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king? But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. They dreamed, and the visions of thy head upon thy dream, and the vision of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came unto thy mind upon thy bed. What should come to pass thereafter? And he that revealeth, seeketh, maketh known. to thee that shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for thy sakes that shall make known the interpretation of the king, and that that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, shewest and beholdeth a great image. The great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, and feet part of iron and part clay. Thou showest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them into pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, of the God of heaven, have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have he given unto thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. Forasmuch as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruises. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potters, clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. Forasmuch as thou shewest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet are part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of man, but they shall not cleave one to another. Even the iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be lifted to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Forasmuch as thou sawest the stone what was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break it in pieces, the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold, the great God have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face, boodum, and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer obligation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods, and a Lord of kings, and a ruler of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and the chief of governors over all the wise men of Babylon. And Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. Reading from the book of Daniel, chapter 2. You're listening to Bobo Ras Anthony on blessradio.org internationally. Just going through the motion. Just rise in righteousness through word and story. Just opening the heavens for what goes around cometh around. That to show God is the king of every province. Sorcery, iniquity, soothsayers, witchcrafts get destroyed before the Almighty, Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari, Ye Naya Bingi, from the Daniel #1 band, and the choruses of the archangels and angels, my lords and empresses, princes and princesses, as we proceed. Babylon going down. And all followers of the ways of Babylon going down. Well, I mean, you can't go up. So we're not fighting.
Adonai God, Jah, Rastafari.
When he cometh to make up these jewels, all his jewels, precious jewels, his love and his own, like the star of the morning, his bright crown adorning, they shall shine their beauty, bright gems for his crown. He will gather, gem for his kingdom, all the pure ones, all the bright ones, his love and his own. Little children, who love the Redeemer, are the jewels, precious jewels, his love and his own. Will Emmanuel I,
Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari.
You want to know the ear? The spirit to rise. You want to know the ear? Can pass it to this side. Controlling, joining me, not just start. My Lord and Emperor. When he cometh.
Time's running and passing and running. If we don't make it this time, there might not be no next time. So let us proceed in the book of Daniel chapter 3. For those who have their Bible, go to the book of Daniel chapter 3. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari, Selah, my Lord. Nebuchadnezzar, the king made an image of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Derar, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together the princes and the governors and the captains and the judges and the treasurers and the counselors, the sheriffs and all rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, the dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king have set up." Sorry, a serious business today about me have a laugh. You know? Yeah. We're set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said, "O to the king, Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of the burning fury furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the provinces in Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, and nor worship the golden image, which thou... You have to go to Hollywood for worship golden image, man. We don't worship golden image. Have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image, which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fury furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said unto the king, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fury furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari." Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his vesture was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should eat the furnace 7 times more than it was wrought to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fury furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their holsters, and their hats, and their other garments were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flames of the fire slew the two men that took Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto the counselors, Did not we cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Daniel. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth, come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth in the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and the captains, and the king counselors being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose body the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither was their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angels to deliver his servants that trust in him, and have changed the king's word, and yield their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, hear them, king, that speak anything amiss against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, shall be cut to pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to the province of Babylon. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. You're listening to Bobo Ras Anthony on blessradio.org internationally. 4 wings of the earth. Let us proceed. Be blessed in his holiness, children of the Most High. Be blessed in his righteousness, all peoples who are made in the image of the Mighty Eye. Let us give thanks for this brand new day, this fresh new Jew day. This day that shall bring new things, new ways, new doings. Born fresh out of righteousness. A new day for every man and woman to try again. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Time is running and passing and running, and we have enough more of the story for go through. So come and just ease down the angels and rise up the story of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Nebuchadnezzar. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. Reading from the book of Daniel, chapter 4. Holy King Emmanuel, I, Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, unto all people, nations, and languages that dwelleth in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to shew the signs and wonders that the high God have wrought towards me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. Excuse me. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in mine house, and flourishing in my palace. And I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed, and the vision of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magician, the astrologer, the Chaldean, the soothsayer, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation. But at the last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, master of musicians, come, because I know that the spirit of the holy God is in thee, and no secret trouble thee. Tell me the vision of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Those were the vision of mine head. In my bed I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the heights thereof was great. And the tree grew, and was strong, and the heights thereof reached unto the heavens, and the sight thereof of the end of all the earth. The leaves therefore were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the fields had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heavens dwelt in the broth thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in the vision of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and an holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said, Those who down the tree, and cut off its branches, shake off its leaves, and scatter its fruits. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from the branches. Nevertheless, leave a stump of its root in the earth, even with the bands of iron and brass in the tender grass of the fields, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let its portions be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. let his heart be changed from man, and let the beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. That matter is by the decree of watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whosoever he will, and setteth up over it the best of man. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belteshazzar, declare the interpretation thereof, forasmuch as all the wise men in my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the Spirit of the Holy God is in thee. Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. And the king spake and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or in the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream be to them that have thee, and the interpretation thereof is thine enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, was heights reaches into the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all under which the beasts of the fields dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heavens had their habitation. It is thou, O King, that art grown and become strong, for the greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. And where is the king saw a watcher of an holy one coming down from heaven, and saying, Who the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the root thereof in the earth, even with the band of iron and the brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let its portion be with the beasts of the fields, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord, the king, that they shall drive thee from man, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts in the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of the heaven. 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. Holy King Emmanuel, I, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, Sila. My Lord, so you see, my lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners, you know, there was a king in Babylon, king of the whole earth, you know, his name was Nebuchadnezzar, you know, and he had a terrible dream, which he couldn't interpretate, you know, and even the sorcerers and the astrologers and the magicians and the Chaldeans, all of his compadres, all his high men that do his business, couldn't fathom or find a dream, even though the dream was a very difficult one, because not even the king remembered the dream, and him want other ones to remember the dream. So you could imagine how wagwan there. So the king who have the dream can't remember the dream, and we know that sometimes we dream and we can't remember certain dream, but we get a little dream, but him can't remember nothing. But him want theme man them go in a theme head, in a theme thoughts, and find the dream and make him know the dream, because the dream was terrible, but the father take it away from him, you know. show him it and take it away from him. You know, and it frightened him. See? It frightened him. Anyway, him say I'm going to tear down everything. Him say I'm going to mash up everything, kill off everybody, you know, who said them as somebody and can't do what them supposed to do. You know, like those astrologers and all them man there, you know what I mean? And they said to him that, my Lord, there's no one that can do such a thing. Anyway, Daniel here, what the king say, I'm going to do to all of the wise men them. And him say, sure, only Jah can draw out them thing there and make we see them thing there from prayer. We can ask the Father and the Father will make it known to I and I. So him said, warn the king, go to the king and tell the king for just hold on. See, we are going to see what we can do for him. So Daniel go check him brethren, them Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego and them reason and them meditate together. Boom, Daniel get the dream. Go in there upon the king and show the king the dream. Tell the king the dream was about a statue, a golden image, you know, like the one where you see at Hollywood, you know, just like that, you know. But the head was of gold and of silver, and the feet was of clay and brass, you know. And Daniel make him know, say, at the times that, you know, him say, the king I got rule still, you know. Other kingdoms are going to come and be mighty, and the last kingdom, the fourth kingdom, are going to be mighty and hold strong. But you see, in the last kingdom there, sir, clay are going to mix with iron. You understand? So you see, man are go there with man, and woman are go there with woman, and all kind of evil are go there. Judgment. You know, so at that him I show him, and at that him see. So him say, my gosh, mean say, there is a man could have shown me them to your God is the King of kings. Him couldn't stop praise the Almighty God to show him that. So that's how we reach now. You know, as you know, him put Shadrach, him set up the golden image, you know, because him start get full of himself now through him pass the dream, and him start get back power and accept where him want the people them for bow down to him now and all kind of thing. Now him know say him have Daniel who can see what God has say and can deal with him proper. If anything get wrong, him can always go to Daniel. You know, so him get more strength and power for ruling people. Them have him play music now and all kind of music. I could imagine the music, where all the music are going and everybody have to bow down before him. And I one flying at the place and say, my Lord, there's ones that are not bowing down to the sound of the cornet and the psalter and the delsimenia music. And he said, who them there? Him said, the man them what Daniel put up as a man them as him put up as him man them for working at the government. Them man that them now bow down to for waiting Nebuchadnezzar. He said, bring them in, man. Hot up the fire, man. Oh, what you talk about? Bow down to the king, bring them in, make a judgment. Them kind of weird, they might go on. He might look fame. He might look people for bow down to him, and him don't know say Jah rule things already. But you see, man, when them exalt themselves, Jah always abase them, you know. You understand? Anyway, as you know, him put Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fire, and there was 4. But if you have wisdom, you know, say Daniel are the God in that, you know. Daniel, I'm feeling brethren them. I feel brethren then. It's Daniel go see the dream and find the dream and get the dream out of the heavens, you know. Get the dream out of the heavens, you know, out of fame heavens, you know. You understand? Out of God and that. So you know, say the 4th one was the Daniel number 1. You know what I mean? And as you know, Nebuchadnezzar called them out and praised them and show and make everybody know say Daniel God, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego God is the God of all gods. You know them for just mind sharp when they deal with Rastafari. Holy King Emmanuel. That's how we reach. We have one more passage for God, and Daniel number 6, and then we'll continue as we go along the way. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, see you, my Lord. My lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners. It's a wonderment and a glory still, It's a great celebration for mankind still, To have the acknowledgement of themselves, and to see before them, to see the dangers, and to prevent themselves from being attached to hypocrisy and folly, Yeah, man will bring folly and hypocrisy to I and I still, yes. And we will walk into all kind of traps and snares. That's why the Father said, get out of her, my people, and be not partakers of her filthiness, because if a place is filthy, you have to go stay in your yard. Just that. So, we have to carve a road. We have to be skillful. We have to be righteous. And we have to be holy. Soft words take it away wrath. And kind words and kind deeds and doing good, that good. We have to just set the road before we, and just walk it, Yeah, Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, Selah, my Lord. The last chapter from the book of Daniel. Going goody? I tell him I love the prophecy, you see, man. Daniel chapter 6. Who have them Bible? Yeah, reach for it, man. Nothing wrong with the Bible, The greatest book in the world. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, Selah, my Lord. Blessed love, my Lord, my lords and empresses, prince and princesses, one and all listeners, yes. Yes, Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, Selah, my Lord. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, or presidents of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Sorry, excuse me. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful. Neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom and governors and the princes and the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal stature and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees there 3 times a day, and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did for times. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, before the king, that Daniel excuse me, sorry. Where was I now? No, Prince, I'm on reading. Don't touch it. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regard not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but made his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree nor salute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded and brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lord, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to the palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angels, and have shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocently was found in me, and also before thee, O God, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of the lions. Lions just yam them up, them and their children and their wives, and the lion had a mastery of them. Oh gosh, man, food galore, and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. Then the king Darius wrote unto the all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom man tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in the heavens and in the earth, who have delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I Jah, Rastafari, Celia, my Lord. You're listening to Bobo Ras Anthony on blessradio.org internationally. Four wings of the earth. Let us be blessed in his holiness. There is nothing new under the sun. Everything has already been done. What goes around comes around. And who God bless, make no man curse. Let us do good always, that good may deliver us. And let us ask preference of the Most High in everything that we do. Brother Daniel, mighty lion, prove Jah time and time again. You know, and what was written in such times is done in these times. But righteousness of that time cometh forth in this time, and wickedness of that time cometh forth in this time. Man come and man go, carrying the ever-living spirit of the living eye. And man go and man come, carrying the spirit of demons. Time after time after time after time. You know, so that which has been done in that time shall be done again in this time. From a man hold himself, from a man know himself, and from a man keep in the preference of righteousness through the powers of the Most High. Father said he will rise up the poor and put them amongst princes. As we see Joseph out of Israel was the king. Daniel out of Israel became king because of God. And all of our martyrs, Moses came out of Babylon, you know, went into the desert land went to the Father and came back and became king. King of Babylon, king of Zion. Born to be kings. Born to be kings. Seek ye the kingdom of the Most High, and all things shall be added. Born to be saviors. Born to be kings. Be blessed in his holiness. Be blessed in his righteousness. You're listening to Bobo Ras Anthony on blessedradio.org internationally every Sunday from 10 to 12 with your righteousness holistically. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari, Sila my love.
Babylon, you don't know what you're doing. Paradise, keep cool, Babylon, you don't know what you're saying. Paradise, keep cool, Babylon, you don't know what you're doing. Still I say the Jagata lightning and thunder to clear the way, and whirlwind comes and blow them away. Keep cool, keep cool. Still I say the keep cool, Babylon, you don't know what you're doing.
Time's running and passing, passing and running. And if we don't do the liquor what we have to do now, there might be no next time. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari, to the people. Loving heart, loving thought, loving ways. Beautiful mind, you know, wonderful soul. Yeah, come we stand. Come we stand in the righteousness of his abode. Yeah, he's our Father, and he is holy. We are his children, so should we be. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. They're using might to beat right. They work on the mind to fight the divine. First they seek fault, then they lean on their own understanding, then they mock your intentions as though your creation is an illusion. They use might to fight the right. It couldn't be right. If nobody knows how much people live by the commandments, how much people live by God's laws, we try them. Then sometimes come, then they sometimes come and take you away. It's always like that. But you got to be strong for your right. Your little right is right. And don't care how much might, as long as you're right. Man go to jail and are sentenced, and all their life they've done no wrong. Stood with the right and the right brought them home. Sometimes right waits for the knock. And only talks when there's silence. That's right. That's right's righteousness. They use might to hold back right. Ignorance freely. Acting. Freely acting. Wouldn't even know to care if a baby needed food. Might has to be right. But might can't beat right in the ring. Might can't beat right in the courts. Might can't beat right in the church. One law for all. Might could never beat right, for right is so right. Me no want fight. What me a fight you for? You know see I. You know see I float like a butterfly, I sting like a bee. Oh, me name Bobo Ras Anthony. Sting you like a bee, man. No matter how you're mighty, you can't beat Selassie. Peace.
Rastafari, Rastafari, up with the promised land at this hour. Could I go to heaven to your father? Blackouts of his must in the land of promise, the Lord most high, Selassie.
The conquering lion shall break every chain. Ethiopia Royal Nation Wealth Kingdom, Ethiopia Poor People National International Freedom League Government, Melchizedek Righteous Kingdom, Black Supremacy Government, for the poor and the have-nots, United Black Wealth Sovereign Nation, Lord of Hosts, the I Am, Repatriation Internationally. The fifth kingdom of Jesus stands for equality and justice for all people. Ethiopia, Africa, Black International Congress, Church of Salvation. The Sabbath day to be kept holy. Freedom, redemption, international repatriation. The Poor People Government internationally through human rights. Black Congress, King of Salem. The people above all nations, kingdoms. Stand governmental, parliamental, churchical and sabbatical, formerly at 54B Spanish Town Road, now headquarters at 10 Mile Bull Bay, Piho, St. Andrews, Jamaica. Africa must be freed immediately from European white world. Make Africa black Africa, Africa for the Africans, those at home and us abroad. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. I, creational race, Jah royal sons and daughters, gods and goddesses of the earth, rightful rulers, under the leadership of our Right Honorable Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards, President, God and King of the Royal Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, situated at Mount Teman Hill, 10 Mile Bull Bay, are here to bring the earth forward to its right and natural state. We, the creational races of the earth, reincarnated descendants of African slave children brought here during the triangular trade in the 17th century, taking us from shores of Ethiopia down here to Jamaica land, then to various parts of Europe, have now come to reclaim our rights and take our governmental stands within the hemisphere, and above all forms of government as the earth rightful rulers. We have now come to take what is ours from creation, to break the bonds of oppression and set the captives free, to break down spiritual wickedness in high and low places through the voice of the I Am, Father Moses. All those who are of clear understanding should be able to recall the little that was taught to us by our slave masters, and this colonial world, prophecy and history books have made it evident that Africa, Ethiopia, the land of the sunburned faces, the land of black people, cradle of humanity, is the first nation upon the face of the earth. Let us bless the Father, for he is the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Be blessed in his holiness, O children of the Most High. Be blessed in his righteousness of all people, all races, all them that seek the kingdom of the Most High. Righteousness is one color, for it has no covetousness, no jealousy, no envy, no hypocrisy. Righteousness, praise righteousness, and is one. Holy King Emmanuel, King Selassie. Be right, be right, be right. Time to be right. Come on, all in my life, keep it burning. Only keep on in my life. Come on, all in my life, I pray. Come on, all in my life, keep me burning. Selassie, keep me burning till the break of Yes, and then it coming to the time when I have to go leave the eye, you know. It's always a wonderment, you know, to rise up in the morning, you know, prepare my show for come do I work. Well, that's a great idea that publish the works of the Most High still, you know. Quite hard to publish the works, you know. You have to write in yourself, you know. And with all the troubling and all the frustration what they're on I, you know, we have to be strong and have faith in the Father, you know, because flesh is the flesh. Flesh are just flesh, you know. If the flesh and the spirit not combine together, you can never be an angel. Flesh and spirit have to come as one. So I can walk as angels in creation. Angels are we. We are the ones that are made, you know. You can't see no spirit, but you can see I. So rise up and trash, O children of the Most High, you know. And bind thyself in your creational love. Remember where you're coming from, so you know where you're going. You know, there's a promised land, promised to I. The Father said, He go to prepare a place for you, that where you is, you can be also. You know, yeah, He said we are in this world, but not of this world, but of the world to come. You know, if we understand, He said the earth is the Lord's, the earth is for Him, and the fullness thereof, they and them that dwell therein. You know, He said, get out of her, my people. When you see all them folly you go on, you understand, and walk out of your house and you steer the place Bright in a folly, pure folly. You understand? Rise and trash. He said, let the unjust be unjust. Let the filthy be filthy still. Let the righteous be righteous. And let the holy be holy. And that Judge said before him step up and he said, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. You know, so come, we make Zion now. Come righteous man, righteous. If you're righteous, come we make Zion man. Come a word towards Zion. Building today for tomorrow. You can't come sit down in a Babylon and drain out all of your business. 1 minute you're fat, the next minute you're slim. I say, what happened to you? You know, just take away everything from me. Oh, why? Because I sit down in a Babylon so long. You should serve your right, man. If you do your work, man, and when Judge tell you to move, you have to move. Sit down in a Babylon, make Babylon take away everything where you build up already. And the Father said you mustn't give your pearls unto swines, man. They will use and abuse you. All right, every man have their own situation still because we suffer enough. You understand? But when time comes, use your time. You know? Yeah, just bless and keep the item. And I give thanks for your wonderful years. You know, Judge, I love the item, man. And everything is for the item, man. Stand up for niggas. All ye warriors of the Most High, you know. And fly the royal banner, red, gold, and green, red, black, and green with the black 5-point star upon it, you know. And know say, Judge reign in the hearts of all flesh. Until next week, Bobo Ras Anthony, the Right Honorable, be blessed in His holiness. Holy King Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. God bless.